Hi everyone, welcome to my video. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about how to make your grocery store style dinosaur toy a little bit more exciting with just like some little paint touch-ups. I know a lot of people have these kind of toys. I love these kind of toys. I get them for my kids and then I end up taking them for myself and painting them up to look kind of a little bit better, a little bit cooler. Originally, the reason that I picked this guy up is I had really wanted the Baryonyx from the Jurassic World set, who had this kind of iridescent coloring on his back. So when the Irritator came out, I picked him up and I decided to do a little bit of that to make him look like the other toy. My background is I do a lot of miniature painting. This is some of my work. So I've got, if that'll go into focus, this is Underworlds, the worm spat. Get some good focus on there. So generally I do miniature painting, but every once in a while I want to change of pace, so I'll take on something like this. So again, this is the Irritator from Jurassic World. And I've already, as you can see, I've already started. You might see a little bit of the iridescence here to make him a little bit cooler, a little bit more interesting. And what I did with that was I really like the green stuff world. This stuff can be tricky to work with because it settles. So you have to really give it a good, fortunately there's a ball in there, but you have to really give it a good shake. I tend to store them upside down to help with that, so that the sediment ends up on this side, and then give it a good shake and give yourself a little pool on your palette over here. Oh, my palette's in frame. So just give yourself a little bit on your palette. I tend to use Citadel paintbrushes, but really Army paint or anything, even a craft store paintbrush will do the job. And just get a little bit on your paintbrush and just sort of brush it in here in the backs, because you don't want to overdo it. You want it to just be a little bit of a highlight. I also did around the eyes as well here. Let me get a little bit more of this out so you can get a feel for that. There we go. Because I thought it'd be interesting if he had a little bit of... Oh, there's the sound effects for you. There we go. The nice thing about these toys is that they actually take paint very well. Some types of miniatures, when you put the paint on, it pools, it pills away. These ones actually do a pretty good job. I found even that you can apply a wash, like one of the Citadel paint washes like Agrax, directly to the model, and it sticks and it does well, and you don't have to prime it or anything, so that allows you to do some fun stuff without spending a bunch of time and effort on it. So once you've kind of done your highlights here, here, and here with something like the green stuff, now it doesn't need to be that paint. You could also just use, say, a metallic silver and just water it down a little bit so you can still see the color through. This is a Rune Fang steel from Citadel. So what I like to do after that is I find often the claws are just plain plastic colored. So I'd say with this guy, probably like a dark brown, say a Dryad bark, or an Abaddon black would probably be good. I think we'll do the brown on this one, see how it looks, and if it's not dark enough I can always go back and do a black instead. So you just do like a quick, you're painting your fingernails. I'm not going to do the whole model right now because I don't think you want to watch me do the entire model, but you get an impression of how quickly that can just make the model look so much sharper and so much more interesting. And of course you'd want to do these claws down here as well. So it all depends on how much you want to do. So often with models like this, I find this is enough. It just gives it that extra pop, makes it look a little bit more like a custom piece. If you're still looking for more, and say you're a beginner painter and you just want to kind of wet your brush on some of these models, then what you can start to do I tend to keep a paper towel here for sharpening my brush on. I like some highlights would be great. So just get a little bit of let's say XV88 from Citadel here. Put it on your palette with a little tiny bit of water. Not too much water, because I say that these, you don't have to prime these models, but they don't want super watery paint. You're going to have problems there. So then if you look, you can just do some quick little highlights. Just like brush upwards in short little strokes. And that'll give you like some nice textural effect there. And you can see it's beading a little bit, so you go a bit to more less watered down paint. Just get that effect in there, which is nice. Again, it's completely what you want to do, what you think looks good on your model. In worst case, you could always, with these ones that's just colored plastic, you can always strip the paint off and try again, which is another nice thing because they're so large size. If it's something you're just starting to get into, just starting to paint, they're really fun to do that kind of thing. Just do this little bit. And then if you're like me and you have kids, you can always just give it to your kids and pretend that you bought it for them all along. So yeah, so see, that gives you like a nice highlight there. You could do the same thing along here if you wanted to. I'm not going to do it because I like this highlight along there. Now, if you really want to start getting ambitious and do the whole model, I would start doing highlights on the ridges of the feet here. So just on like the tops of the toes. That sort of thing. And then maybe just pick out a couple scales here and there. And then again, if you don't like it, you can always rub it away. Just give yourself a bit of extra texture there. I wouldn't do every scale. I would just pick and choose because then it gives you this pebbly look, which is nice. Once it dries, it's just very nice and textural. The other thing that I always do with these models, even if I don't feel like doing something elaborate at all, is I put a shine in the eye. Because I find that the eyes on these models often look either stunned or dead, you know? So my favorite white to use is, oh god, the label's rubbed right off. P Formula. This is a nice one. I find the Citadel white dries out. Citadel's generally my go-to paint, or Vallejo. But like, if you want to just get in right here, and just do a little shine in the eye. You see, it just brings the eye to life. It brings it from being this kind of stunned, dead-looking thing to just looking that much more real. The other thing that's fun to do, if you have the paint and you have the compunction, is to take a gloss varnish and do the teeth and the inside of the mouth and sometimes the claws. And that just gives it that fresh, wet look. Oh, and the eyes, of course. Yeah, a little dot in the eye as well. It really goes a long way to making the model look, there's that sound effect again, just a little bit more. So you can just coat the inside of the tongue with the varnish and then do each of the teeth. And you'll get a nice shiny effect going on. What I'll do is I'll finish this figure up and then I'll probably put him up on my Tumblr for anybody who wants to see what the finished product is going to look like. And that's Painted Menagerie. Tumblr.paintedmenagerie. You can check out some of my other work on there. And yeah, that's about it. That's how you have a little bit of fun with your kids' toys that are hanging around the house and just want to give your painting skills a little bit of a try. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.